exploring what it looks like for you to be spiritually cleansed. All right. So as we wait on a couple of people to come in, I am going to step away and grab my glasses. All right. All right, guys. So when you consider spiritual cleanliness, what comes to mind? The first thing that comes to mind when it comes to spiritual cleanliness is, you know, how would you clean your garments? How would you clean your garments? When you give attention to detail, when you're cleaning your garments, you're looking for spots. You're looking for anything that is not going to be not going to allow that garment to actually present to be intact like it should be. And so a part of that looks like you making sure you have the right cleaning products, you looking like you have the right resources available to be able to spot treat. And so when I was given this message, your spiritual cleanliness matters. um, there were a lot of different components and areas that I was led to focus on. And so the first is, when you are examining your spirit, it requires examining, cleansing, ironing, all of these different components, just like you would with your regular laundry of your garments. So, with your spiritual garments, you're looking at these different imperfections that are separating you from growth, causing starvation of your spirit, which is causing you to consume things that you shouldn't be consuming. And so, the first component, like I said, examining, cleansing, ironing out those areas in your life that are a necessity. So how you're going to thrive, the support systems that you have, all of these different areas in your life that are a necessity. And so you start by being attentive in some cases more attentive, because it's not that you're not doing the work for some of you guys, it's that you're not doing enough of it. So the relationship, so this looks like some of the areas that are being cleansed, they need to be done more so often. And so this means your prayer life. What does that look like? How often are you praying? Are you just going to our Heavenly Father in prayer when stuff is good and you're just rejoicing? What about those challenging areas? Are you actually showing up to say, okay, well, I trust that you're going to have me. I trust that I know that I need to change my life. I know that I need to exemplify certain things, but I'm not exemplifying them. And then what does it look like when you're called to let go of certain things? That's a part of your spiritual cleanliness as well. Letting go of things as they present toxicity in your life. If you know that the people that you're hanging out with are not meaning you well, then you need to be able to stand firm on that and walk away from that and set that healthy boundary. It doesn't mean that you don't care for these people, but it means that you can't grow and you can't spiritually mature and be where you need to be because they're presenting toxicity to you. It's just like any type of substance that you receive and you have an adverse reaction to it. You're not going to want to use that substance again because you now know that you are not compatible with that substance. It's just like with people. If you go into an atmosphere and these people are not filling you up, they're not helping you, they're not pouring into you, they are tearing you down, and you realize that that's a toxic trait. You have to be able to set that boundary. So this is what a part of your spiritual cleanliness looks like: removing those impurities and those imperfections and the things that you are allowing to be included in your life and your lifestyle, and removing it. And so, you know, the toxicity to your spiritual growth and your development has to be cleansed. Your cleanliness and ability to grow and mature is what you're focusing on. And so in your laundering phase, it's also important for you not to try to remain in the things that you've outgrown. And what this means is you're not the same size that you used to be, spiritually speaking. So the things that you used to do, you're no longer partaking of. The things that you used to partake in are no longer satisfying you, in a sense. Let's put it that way. And so, because there is no satisfaction there, you have now been processed and you have outgrown that lifestyle. So this looks like a lot of times when people get to be, hi, thank you so much. Um, a lot of times people will say, well, oh, you act funny. Oh, thank you. Can I scare my? uh, um, I actually don't do much. I actually do. I'm not gonna say it. I steward well over a skincare brand, and it's called Into Skin by 4K. That's the first time anybody's ever asked me that. But yeah, I keep it really simple for my skincare. I do not use any type of, we'll just say, preservatives or things like that. All of these creams and stuff I don't do. And so yeah, I just, simple ingredients. It's the best thing, and natural ingredients. Mango butter. It's good for the skin. And vitamin D. Make sure you go out and get it. Um, but thank you so much. And so, but this looks like you getting to a place where you're not hanging out with the same crowd because you've identified their toxic traits. And because of their toxic traits, they start to say things like, oh, well, you're acting funny. Oh, you're too good to do this, too good to do that. No, I've grown and you're still stagnant and you're still remaining in the space that you have been for quite some time. And when are you going to be able to move past that? Or when are you going to grow and mature? And so you don't have to question where they are because you're focusing on yourself. But in them questioning you, you have to be confident enough in who you are and where you've come from to say, I still don't partake in that kind of stuff. That's not what I do. And so you've outgrown the garments, and your capacity has actually changed. Hi, welcome in, guys. Yeah, so your capacity has actually changed. Um, your occupancy even has changed. That what you can actually hold, is different. That looks like being mature spiritually. When you are starting to be mature spiritually, this means that you are able to have constructive criticism, and you're able to give constructive criticism. That's what that looks like. And so you've increased from small to medium, from large to extra large. And some of your capacity has changed, and what you've been charged to carry has also increased. So that means that now you've spiritually matured and you've spiritually done that work. What does it look like now? You're required to exemplify that. You're required to move forward in a capacity that says, I'm able to exemplify everything that I've outgrown, everything I've healed from, all of the baggage that I've let go. I now have room to be able to hold new things. That's what that looks like. And so during your phase of your capacity changing, you've been charged to carry something that's going to cause an increase. And so during the resting seasons, we don't carry a load, and it's a reason for that. Spiritually speaking, when you're not carrying a load, when you're transitioning from, we'll just say, trauma to healing, when you go through that healing phase, you're releasing all of that baggage, you're releasing all of that weight. And the reason that you're doing that is because you need that recuperation. It's a recuperation period when you're entering into a season of rest after you've gone through an ordeal that has been traumatic or traumatizing for you, that's been chaotic, very high stress. You enter into a phase of rest. So you think about a person that's been through a traumatic injury. Car crashes is what's coming to mind. So when a person they go through a traumatic experience with a car accident, one of the things that the medical staff do is they may induce the body to be forced to go into a state of rest. The reason for this is because it needs time to recuperate. It needs time to recover. It needs time to heal. And so that's what your period of rest is. So you're not supposed to be lifting heavy loads while you're doing the work to cleanse yourself spiritually, to heal, to grow, to be nurtured. So that's what it looks like. And in doing so, you're spiritually recuperating and in transition to your next assignment. So when you come out of that recovery phase, then now you're ready and you're prepared to present yourself in this new way, in this new garment. So it's no different with your spiritual lives as it is with your physical life. You know, you go to sleep every day to get up and wake up refreshed. Your spirit needs the same thing. You need that restful time where you're not carrying things so that you can be filled up with new things. Hi, welcome back in India. Um, and so yeah, that's what that looks like. And then um, you also are not trying to take on more than what you can bear. And so your spirit requires attention just as you give your physical garments. It's just like your physical garments. You launder your clothing, so you should be laundering your spirit as well. And this should be a daily walk. It should be a daily journey. I'm Jay, and I'm U.S. I'm from the U.S. Welcome in from India. I'm happy to see you guys again. And so to launder, when you think about what laundering means, to launder means to clean, to wash, to iron out, to the wrinkles. And so we're called to spiritually be blemish free or spotless. This requires intentionality, it requires focus. It also requires you to be intentional. You are literally examining your spirit to treat the spots, followed by washing them out. And so when you're washing them out, in some instances, this looks like pre-washing. And this looks like take an inventory. Take an inventory of your time, the efforts that you're putting forth, the resources, your company, the company that you keep, and the food you eat, the food you consume, because you'd be surprised at how your diet plays a part in how you function, how you thrive, you know? And so you have to be mindful of that. The company that you keep, the food you eat, your temple is to be kept pure and holy for our Heavenly Father to use as a vessel to operate through. And so if you're not able to keep your temple intact, then how can He use you as a vessel? If you're always sluggish, if you're always over consuming, if you're always under consuming, if you can't properly find the balance to be able to be housed with that spirit, pure and holy, then it's not going to happen. So, what areas are you in need of exploring to be cleansed? Spot treating. Where do you need to give more focus and time for you to be cleansed, spiritually speaking? Are you over consuming? Are you under consuming? Are you holding on to things that you're meant to let go of? Okay? And so, taking inventory of your time, efforts, and resources, the company you keep, the food you eat. Um, when I was given this message for this subject matter, obesity stood out. Obesity and starvation, and this is what it was. Obesity is the overconsumption. It's the result of overconsumption. The body is holding excessively more than it can actually process, right? And so the body is holding more than it can handle at a proper rate for it to absorb the nutrients and for it to expel waste. And so then it just becomes it becomes too much. And then it just starts to pack on. And then from there, you you start to feel sluggish. You start to be depressed. You start to just continue to overconsume even more. You start to just, like I said, be slothful. You have health complications. You have lifelong consequences that are connected to this very thing that started with something so small as overconsumption. And so this could look like you going out once a night, to, okay, just gonna start with one dessert, and then it turns into two. And now you got a full bucket of ice cream every night. And you don't know how you got here because you're not examining things, because you're not taking time to put forth setting a boundary and a cap on what it is that you're going to allow to enter in. And so, spiritually speaking, this is us just consuming too many things that we know are toxic. You see that it, okay, might have felt good, but at the same time, it's not beneficial for you. But you continue to move on in that trait. So, that's what that looks like. And then starvation, on the opposite, in contrast to obesity, is partnered with physical damage. Starvation is the result of underconsumption. You're under consuming. And so what this means is It's the result of underconsumption of valuable nutrients required for proper absorption. And what that looks like is you have to have fuel to maintain the body, just like you have to have spiritual fuel to maintain your spiritual journey. Oh, that's good. Okay, so spiritual fuel maintains your physical assignments. You're filling up so you know how to um, encourage, uplift, edify. That's your spiritual fuel. But if you're not taking time to make sure that you are nurtured by studying, praying, growing, you're not going to be able to present that when it's time for it to be presented. And so, starvation is partnered with the physical damage, internal damage, self valuation, identity lack, and it also has lifelong consequences. And so, when you are considering your spiritual cleanliness, what type of lifestyles are you needing to make? What type of things are you needing to separate yourself from? What type of things are you needing to let go of? What type of things are you needing to incorporate because you are depleted? Are you only giving yourself to everyone else around you and not taking time to care for yourself? Are you only caring for yourself but then not taking time to care for others? Because it's a two-way street. And so that's a part of what you can focus on, as you continue to go through the rest of this week. Your spiritual cleanliness, where are you with that? And so I'm grateful for taking time to hop in with you guys really quickly and just give you that message. I will be posting an extended video on this subject matter sometime this week. And so, of course, I want to go through the comments and give you guys a proper shouts out. All right. So at Linu 16, thank you so much for your presence. At Divine Truth for All, thank you so much for your presence and your commentary. At Vlad Coolboy, thank you for your presence. At Baranasu Vlogger 1, thank you for your presence as well. And guys, I'm grateful for the work that's been kind of just unfolding on this platform. I'm grateful for each of you that have continued to subscribe, like, comment, share, however you're supporting this ministry work. I'm also excited to share with you guys a lot of different opportunities that are growing and coming through here. So be sure to check the links in my bio for some cool opportunities to, take advantage of the ways that you can save, because I'm really big on that. I want to maximize the opportunities that I'm given. And so in turn, I get to share that with you. So be sure to take that time to go and check those links in the bio. And so, of course, I want to make mention also that our Heavenly Father is expanding this territory. And I'm grateful to make mention, because like I just said, we have people watching from all over the world. And I'm grateful for that exposure, for that impact, and for that influence. And so India, first and foremost, I thank you for tuning in from India. I also thank you for tuning in from the following places: Brazil, South Korea, Canada, UK, Philippines, Uzbekistan, Germany, South Africa, Ukraine, Vietnam, Trinidad and Tobago, Japan, Indonesia, Turkey, Australia, Iraq, Algeria, Bangladesh, Russia, Belarus, Colombia, Mexico, Italy, Syria, Jamaica, and South America, guys. So that's where people are tuning in from. So always, guys, take it back to our Heavenly Father and ask Him why you relate to this specific message. And as always, guys, I love you guys until the next time that we are together. All right? So I'll see you guys soon. And don't forget, write out the things that stood out to you and go take it to our Heavenly Father in prayer, because it's easy to, neglect our spiritual cleanliness. You don't neglect your garments, though. So stop neglecting your spirit. All right? That's my message for you guys. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Take care.